Hi, in this video I'm going to be talking about Web3.js plugins, what they are, who should be building them, and how you can build one kind of by looking at the components that comprise a Web3.js plugin. So this presentation is really geared towards people who already sort of have a handle on Web3 development, using Web3.js, that sort of thing. So if that sounds like you, I hope you continue watching. So let's get started. What is a Web3.js plugin? A Web3.js plugin is a way for developers to make the lives of other developers easier by extending the capabilities of Web3.js. So this might be making it easier for developers to interact with smart contracts, dApps, Ethereum compatible networks, middleware services, and more. Like there can be testing capabilities that are built into Web3.js plugins. You can do things like making it easier for developers to estimate or optimize the amount of gas that they're using. So that's kind of a very high level of what a Web3.js plugin is. So who should be building a Web3.js plugin? Well, kind of springboarding off the previous slide, it's something that could be built by a smart contract developer who wants to make it easy for other developers to interact with their smart contracts, dApp developers with similar desires, could be maintainers of Ethereum compatible networks who want to kind of have a built-in user base of everyone that's already using Web3.js and making it easy for them to use that sort of familiar SDK to interact with their network. You could be a middleware developer like of an Oracle service, or maybe you're a Web3.js user who feels like you're always doing similar things and you want to package it in a nice API, or maybe there's gas estimation or testing concerns that you have. So really anyone from these groups is a great candidate for building a Web3.js plugin, and I'm sure there's more that I'm even forgetting. So what are the elements that go into a Web3.js plugin? We talked about smart contracts, so definitely smart contract definitions are one thing that can easily be bundled up into a Web3.js plugin. RPC methods, if you're a Ethereum compatible chain that maybe exposes some additional RPC methods on top of the standard Ethereum RPC. We have schemas that are used for dealing with the responses from those RPC methods, types and interfaces to make it easy for TypeScript developers to work in an idiomatic way, constants that can be used to interact with well-known and non-changing things like maybe contract addresses or other constants such as that. And finally, utilities that really kind of wrap up business logic in an end user facing way. So we're going to take a look at each one of these a little bit closer. And in particular, we're going to be using the Web3.js plugin that we created at ChainSafe Systems for ZK Sync, because that really demonstrates a lot of these different components of a Web3.js plugin. So let's jump right into that by looking at smart contract definitions. So as you see here, we have our smart contract ABI. One thing that I want to point out is that we're exporting it as const, and that's important because then that allows the text editor or IDE, integrated development environment, to provide autocomplete capabilities so that when a developer wants to make use of that smart contract, it's auto-completed for them in their text editor, which makes it easier for them not only to develop what they're looking to develop, but also to understand the capabilities that that smart contract exposes and do all of that in a less error-prone way. I've linked down here the actual part of the ZK Sync plugin that I'm looking at. And so the link to these slides will be in the description of this video. And then you can use that to reference this if you'd like. As you can see, I've elided some of the components here just to kind of make it all fit and look pretty. So that's what it might look like to include a smart contract ABI into a Web3.js plugin and why you might want to do that. The next one is RPC methods, and you can see that our RPC methods are making use of this Web3 request manager class that we're using to send requests to an RPC endpoint. And so you can include or bundle any type of RPC request by using this Web3 request manager. It makes it easy for you, again, allows you to do it in an idiomatic way, and then just provides a more straightforward and less error prone way for other developers to interact with your RPC endpoints. Schemas, as I mentioned, are used for formatting and providing type safety around the responses that you get back from the RPC methods. And so you can see that we're defining like a response that would be for getting block details and then listing out the properties of that object and the types that they have. So this is, again, used for providing type safety around responses for those custom RPC methods. Types and interfaces can be used to define things like parameters to RPC methods, or just other types that you may be using as part of your DApp, smart contract, whatever it may be. We have constants. In this case, they're basically addresses, but you can think about doing other things too, like maybe cryptographic constants or anything like that. That's going to be the same for every developer anytime they're making use of whatever platform you're building a Web3.js plugin for. And finally, we kind of wrap this all up in what I'm calling utilities. These are sort of the final end user facing capabilities that your users may want to make use of. So here for ZK Sync, you can see that we're getting the L2 address of a token. This is a really important capability for ZK Sync, but you can do other things like, maybe using some sort of special cryptographic scheme for signing a message or something like that. Any business logic you want to wrap up really can be exposed as a Web3.js plugin. So now that you have a bit of a better understanding of what a Web3.js plugin is from sort of a very high level, you may be wondering like, wow, this sounds awesome. What next? How do I continue to learn about this? Good news, we have lots of great resources for you. And again, the link to this slide will be shared in the description for this video, so you can go ahead and follow through to all of these different links that I've shared here. We have a great guide for using Web3.js plugins. If you're a Web3.js user and you want to see how you can include a plugin in some code that you're writing, we have a guide for that. We also have a guide for building Web3.js plugins. If you're a smart contract or DApp or network maintainer, and you're thinking, man, this sounds like a good way to provide my developers with a better experience, we have some awesome resources to help you learn more about building a Web3.js plugin. If you're really hungry for this kind of stuff, we have an amazing entire course on Web3.js that does include kind of a deep dive into the nitty gritty of building an example Web3.js plugin, and it actually includes a whole lot more. So if you're really looking to learn more about Web3.js, especially version 4, which is the newest version, I highly recommend checking out that entire course on YouTube. On the Web3.js homepage, you can see a list of all the available plugins. And if you go to the the Web3 organization on GitHub, you can see the repositories for a lot of these plugins and maybe contribute to one if you'd like. We have an awesome template that you can use if you'd like to build a plugin for yourself. I've used it myself, and it makes it very, very easy to start. You can easily whip up a plugin in just a couple of hours. If you've built a plugin and you'd like to list it on that list of available plugins that I mentioned earlier, we have just a simple JSON document that you can edit on GitHub. And once your pull request is accepted, you'll see your plugin showing up there on the Web3.js docs. Finally, we really hope that you join us on the Web3.js Discord. We have a great community, not just of ChainSafe team members that are behind maintaining Web3.js, but also Web3.js users. So if you're looking to kind of talk to like-minded developers, maybe get a little support, validate an idea for a plugin, the Discord is a great place to do that. And finally, of course, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't encourage you to follow Web3.js on Twitter. That's where you're going to be able to learn about things like hackathons and maybe the newest features, the newest videos that we come out with. So I really hope that this video has excited you about the possibilities of Web3.js plugins, and I hope to see you around our Discord and Twitter sometime soon. Thank you so much.